Hello, beautiful souls. I'm feeling so guided to share this. I had someone the other day ask me if they should get into the social work program. Okay, now I've got college and university. I took early childhood education and social work, college and then university. And here's what I have learned. I believe everyone gets into these human services to help people. I went into it so authentically feeling like I could make a difference. And the reality is that it's a system and it's been created to falsify you into giving all of this money and all of this time into learning the textbook version of the policies and procedures, but not even really. More they give you this umbrella of like, be the advocate, make the change. And then the more you learn and more you learn, you realize, but the system doesn't let you. It's like, I want to do this and this, and but oh, you can't do that. So there's a boundary there. There's a policy, there's a procedure. And then you're told advocate. Oh, big word in social work, advocate, because we are taught how society has imperfections and how it's governed, and we are supposed to advocate for the greater good of humanity within this system because we understand how socialism works, right? Problem is here's what you learn. You're advocating against a system that then has a rule that tells you can't, and it's a vicious circle of, again, you really can't help anyone. And in so many different roles, I found it interesting how I'm coming in with over 25 plus years of experience, plus my personal life, and yet they hire me for a specific role. And although I have all of these other skills and services I can offer, they only want you to play that role. So because you don't have the title on a piece of paper governing and allowing the policies, procedures, insurance, and everything to, again, it doesn't allow you to. I got in trouble so many times for, well, you can't do that. Well, but if I was hired as this role, I could. Well, yes, but that's not your role. So, boundaries. Ooh, big word they love to throw at you, boundaries. And I always internally questioned, like, where are my boundaries? Am I going too far? Am I going above and beyond? And here I am in life going, no, I was never wrong because I felt and knew that there were imperfections. It's like this quote I came across that said, there are those that know the rules and follow them. There are those that know the rules and know when to break them. There's times where, for example, within a system where it was for youth and it was like a step before jail, and there were so many rules. And one of them was that they couldn't eat after a certain time, and they couldn't bring food into their rooms, and all of these different things, right? For the best interest of the system, never the child, the client, the customer is really the way it's governed. Because if they're not really ever being helped holistically, think about how that feeds the system, them. And I'm saying that because I have to use these words, and I hope you're reading between the lines, because another thing I learned as I'm trying to be an advocate online, they do a really good job fact checking, and then they make sure that I'm aware of my boundaries, and you're blocked. And I had to do a test on YouTube to get my channel back saying that I wasn't going to try and influence blah blah blah. So here's the thing. When I was asked if somebody should go and take social work, or in general, I tell even anyone with children, don't, the school is for fools. Think about everything you can learn if you were just to put your mind to it. Everything we want to learn is out there. What school taught me was how to do research. It taught me how to learn for myself. University was really just teaching you how to do critical thinking and philosophical thinking, and it just wanted you to open your mind and research, come up with new ideologies, come up with new ways of thinking. How cool is that? And then I go out into the world after and I'm realizing, oh, well, no wonder everyone is getting jaded towards each other, because anyone who didn't go to school and learn that you can learn is all it did, right? The rest of everyone was just on the hamster wheel thinking that they know what they know and it's black and white and it is what it is, and not gonna, and then the minute you come in with some new wisdom, they're like, conspiracy theorists, someone thinking outside of the box, because they have done such a good job manipulating everything into a mold, a script, a label, a category, a definition, a context, a good or bad. Do you see how it leaves no room for anything being gray? And here's the most beautiful thing. Life should, in essence, be lived in the gray. Let go of thinking that anything is black and white and live in the reality that the only thing that is consistent in this universe is change. So if you can get comfortable living uncomfortable and letting go of all of the rules, all of the agenda, all of the what you think you've been told and you have to and you should because someone said, that's my favorite question. Always was, who said? Even when I was in school, like, who said this? Who is this person that we're following in this textbook? That's one person, and somehow, some way, who said that this is the one text and the one version of wisdom and knowledge in which we are going to create our entire context around a skill and profession. Like, when there's a billion people in the world with a billion different ways to do anything and everything. Think about it. Woo! Imagine a world where we actually shared all of our insights and different angles and perceptions of the same thing. Yeah, I just so much want everyone to realize that if you step outside of the box, if you decide to break free from feeling like you have to go to school, you have to get that degree, you have to get that diploma. Our ancestors, this is over 50 some years of conditioning to make you think that the only way to have a true, secure, safe financial future is to get a job and maintain that till retirement. But here's what I'm learning. So I've broke out of the box. I've decided that I'm not going back to try and do any type of social work or within the system. I have to step outside of it and offer people my services and my gifts, independently contracting. Now I'm looking up like business words. I'm studying all. It's like you can be an entrepreneur, freelancer, and there's so many different, right? Who cares about, again, the words? If you're following me, please do. Check out my podcast, YouTube, TikTok, on Facebook. I'm constantly talking about these mindset empowerment strategies, that different ways you can look at things. So in this breaking free from the hamster wheel, I started to see, nobody really knows what they're doing, but they get an idea and an instinct and they go for it and they can create businesses. People have created all kinds of things. But that means, here's the interesting part. You step outside and you try to start your own business. If anyone isn't on this side of running your own business in any shape or form, here's what you need to know. Want some social work? These beautiful souls do everything they can. And they have all, again, here's the new tax bracket. Here's a new boundary. Here's a new rule. And all of these limitations that never really let them be successful easily. And here's what I learned. The minute that you become an entrepreneur, the banks and oh no, we can't do anything for you because you don't have a job. Until you can show that you have a 9 to 5 and a steady income and a proof of this for the next week, we can't look at anything. What? Oh, well, when you get to about the 3-year mark and you have enough proof in your business to show, then we can talk. Pardon? See, so then what does it mean? Loans and loans and blah, 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 and debt and debt and debt. So see how it's all governed so wonderfully for them and not you. But on that note, it's still far more highly successful because within a 9 to 5 or following what they want, there's a ceiling, there's a cap. You're never going to make more than whatever that you signed up for, that you're going to give this amount of time for this amount of pay. And there's no room around it unless you're going to pull like 4 or 5 jobs. I've done it to working so many jobs and side hustles for cash and whatever. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily work. Not for having a balanced time and energy and balance. But here's what one of my friends told me this story. We were talking the other day about our jobs, and she was reflecting too. Oh, maybe I should have went to school. And I said, no, let's reflect. So she decided that she was going to start a cleaning company at really young age. And through word of mouth, it grew and it grew and it grew. And it became like she was known as the best cleaner around. And then even the industry started to contact her. And she was getting these independently contracted jobs. Through those jobs, people started to know her individually, see that she was an incredible business-minded person, no school, and hired her to, can you do this job? We'll teach you. And leveled up to a place now where she's running the show. So just saying. And then I start, as I do, researching and realizing anyone who's successful, guess what? Do your own research. They didn't get no school. They dropped out, and that's what allowed their mind to become creative and find other ways to earn an income with no ceiling. It's limitless. Do 7 different jobs, all different shapes and form. And if they're all bringing in different amounts of money, well, how can that not be a win? And so we start to reflect, and she goes, can we talk numbers? I said, I'd love to. She says, with your degrees and diplomas, what's top dollars you've ever made? I said, with childcare, okay, so raising the children of the future, top dollar I ever made in a year before taxes was $23,000 to $27,000 in a year. That's poverty. I never knew that. I thought that was, I'm in the system, going to school. I got my diploma. I'm doing the job. I'm in. And until now, looking back, I was like, oh, when you start to realize when you get to different tax brackets because you're making more money, you start to see, oh, I was in, that's why I always got money back on my taxes and thought that that's normal. Doesn't everybody? No, lots of people pay lots of taxes back. Stay with me. So here's what's fun. So then she says, and oh, wait, let me add. So then social work, getting into like, okay, now I've got a government. Let's talk about degree, top government job, top dollar. Here's my ceiling, $52,000 in a year. Okay? Complete burnout, high level of crisis care and intervention, and 52. Okay, hang in here. She tells me she made $8,000 cash a month cleaning houses at the very beginning before she leveled up. Can I just say that is to be celebrated, inspired me. Here's someone I know. I'm listening to it in books and mindset people talking, but to have a real story from a real friend telling me how. And then when we had this, I said, and you think you needed to go to school? Now here's the thing, I add this. She's also almost paid off her house because she put over $30,000 down. She was able to save like that up as a down payment or something. Details of this are incredible, okay? Because when I reflected, I went, wait a minute, the only reason you were able to do that, my dear friend, was because you didn't go to school, because my debt was $30,000 just for the university. It was more than that, I believe. And the college was, I think, 27,000 or more, or whatever. So right there, then you think, okay, so here you are forced to think of what you want to do before you even know who you are, because 25 years old is when your brain rationally develops. And for those of us pushed into the system, here you are taught, quickly figure out what you want to do, jump in on it. Now they're going to put you into debt, an extreme amount of debt, before you even know what you want. Now you've made a choice. Now you're committed. Now say you get that degree, diploma, you don't even know if you're going to love it. Now you're in the game. Now you're in debt. And in this process at the same time, they're like, start thinking about who you're going to marry and have the kids in the car and the picket fence and the big house and the garage and the toys and the, oh, get ready for your retirement. Think about this. So meanwhile, someone like my friend is figuring out who she is the whole time, learning about that she could take risks, building confidence. She's got all of this determination. She's meeting incredible different people every day, which is then guiding her to new opportunities. And meanwhile, the rest of us are in a box, doing the same thing every day, hoping for different results. And this is insanity. We know it, but we're taught it. And best thing, we can unlearn whatever it is we're taught. So here's a place in which I'm at. Don't go to school. Figure out what you love. Find a way to turn it into a gift or a service. Do it. Here's what I'm also seeing, though. They, again, are really trying to make sure that everyone doesn't necessarily step out of the box and become successful and use the internet as a way to exchange services as a business, in essence. Here's what I see. They started so quickly paying, and I want you to understand this, they are paying people to become a scam, become a fake this, become that, so that we can start to question everyone and everything and not trust thy neighbor and not invest in our community folk who are right there, our brothers and sisters all around us who are trying to share their authentic gifts and skills. They're making it really fuzzy for us to trust, and therefore hinder, again, these different formalities of business to arise. Notice? Right away they got on the MLMs and the this and that. And I'm telling you from experience, I talk real people, real experience. These things are all absolutely legit. Yes, there's going to be those paid to scam and create the contrast. But is it possible? Absolutely. So here's what I feel is so neat. Where was I going? The MLMs and the online businesses. Sharing with each other. And because, you're seeing masterminds. I believe that this is going to be the most incredible, critical way for everybody to learn. Because I have learned more in the last 3 to 7 years. obsessively trying to learn from masterminds. If there's someone who's done it, I want to learn from them. And they're out there, but it's just not in school. And it's not going to be given to you in a pop-up as you scroll. You're going to have to search it, like Google mindset stuff and mind empowering, the successful people out there who have stepped outside of the box. This is so, so incredible. So, overall, do I think it's important that we find our internal gifts? Yes. And honor them? Yes. Through all of my years of childcare, I can honestly say I knew, and you know, even as a parent, in the first 5 years of that child's life, by the time 2, 3 is they're starting to explore, you can see, you can tell what they're drawn to, what they're interested in, all of their different little dynamics and quirks that they expose are their true, authentic self. And unfortunately, we're taught to tell a child, no, don't do that, and, right? But imagine, and I've seen so many stories of this, if a child is truly honored for what they're showing their interest is about, magical. I think that was like an Einstein, right? Like the stories of these masterminds were totally separate from society and spent a lot of time just honoring and governing their own gifts for the greater good of everyone involved. I often reflect on that too, because I don't have a TV, I don't listen to the radio, I just actively seek what's going to empower me if I'm going to consume anything. And I've noticed, because I love comedy and I love anything enlightening, and you can't, over these last 7 years, it's slowly diminishing. Like they have found a way to make sure that it's just being eliminated. Like there's no more humor, lighthearted. Where's the Golden Girls? Shows like that, or like The Price is Right, Bob Marley's, Martin Luther King Jr.'s. Where are all of the empowering, beautiful souls that were actively making a difference? Well, I'll tell you, from a social work perspective, they're on to something. And so are we. So I know that everyone is, and always has been, kind of feeling that inner conflict within you when you're trying to make a decision to follow something within the script, the agenda, you're just like, and if you have that, just listen, please, for the love of life. I'm telling you from experience. If you get that, whether it looks good on paper and whether everything is telling you within your 3D reality around you that this is the right choice because someone said, please question it. And if for a second there's something in you going, I don't know. Yeah, you do know. You know right there, because the minute that you had an inner conflict, I call that an inner conflict. That's because your soul knows what's best. And everything outside and in front of you is telling you, here's what you should do. And so you're having that but I don't want to. Then don't. It's not going to be a mistake if you listen to your soul. It's always, that's your inner compass. And we've been, another thing so well taught, to try and shut off your emotions. Anything that you feel, we're taught to suck it up, press it down. How you doing? Fine. Even if everything inside of you is not. And I'm sorry, but that's something that I never fell for for sure. I always had to. I couldn't stop it. If I felt something, I'm in it. That's how I feel. Ain't nobody gonna tell me any different because they're my feelings. I remember being a really young child and my dad yelling at me like to stop it and turn it off. I'll give you something to cry about. And why are you being like this? Or why you're so, and I'm like, they're my feelings. I'm allowed to feel these things. And I was right. And it's funny because that's really what I think society has done to everyone, is told us. And then what happens here, I understand energy. I'm an energy healer now, a master Reiki practitioner. I had to learn about all that because feelings are a frequency. And when they're out of balance, that's what creates dis-ease. Boom! Can you feel it? Can you hear that? It creates dis-ease when we're going against the grain of our soul or experiencing things that are just not of our best frequency and told to suck it up. You are putting that somewhere within you and it will create dis-ease. Coolest thing, Louise Hay has an awesome book, Heal Your Body, and she does the resonance between your emotions and the direct relation to how it's going to cause an ailment in a physical part of your body. For example, if your throat, something with your throat, you're probably not speaking your truth, right? And that's directly in line with like your throat chakra. That falls all in line with energy. Everything is energy, everything is frequency. That's something I've always known, but then learning how to manage our energy is next level. It's next level. So, well, I kind of spun off there a little bit on that, but your energy is well, I'll bring it all back together with, if you are listening to your emotions, which are creating an energy in you, you want to be in the high happy frequency, right? Do what, if it's going to get you excited, yay. It doesn't matter if everyone around you is going but, just go, I don't care, yay. Like an inner child, that inner child in you, keep them alive. Keep them alive, because that's hand in hand with your most highest self vibrations and emotions. That inner child in you is always screaming the way. And so, yeah, if you can do that, it'll always guide you. You don't have to think so far ahead. One of the greatest things I ever heard from that author who created the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, he said, you never need to see the entire road ahead of you. When you're driving, you don't necessarily have to see the whole road in front of you. You know it's there. At nighttime, you turn your high beams on and all you can see is the distance in which the high beams are flashing. So lighting it up. And that's life. The best way to live your life in the here and now, and as far as you can see in the headlights. The road is there. Allow it to unfold. That's what it's all about. And so with each choice that comes up for you on any level of the script of the agenda of life, it's your journey, and only you have the answers for what's best for you. Only you in each moment. So whatever it is that arises in the buffet of life, as it comes to you, question, how does this make me feel? Does this make me come alive? Because if it makes me come alive, you're going to want to do it. If not, in that moment, just for today, it's okay to say no and choose peace. You could change your mind tomorrow. We often get into that panic of, I don't know what decision to make because I don't want to make the wrong one. It's never the wrong one. Only in the moment is all we have, here and now. Feel it, know it, commit to it, and it's okay. Choose in this moment to just honor your authentic self. Whatever it is that makes you come alive, you're being guided, and allow it to unfold. Don't follow what anybody who said, question that, every angle, every decision. Who said, is this right for me? There's your answer. You have all of the answers within and around you. Because as soon as you know what's right for you, here's the best part. You don't even need to know how. Because the minute you open up and go, no, I'm not doing that. For example, like I'm not going to school. Okay, fine. So what did my friend do? Now she had to get creative, and she started thinking and looking around and decided, well, I could clean a house and clean somebody's house, and that person tells somebody, blah, blah, and ripple effect, because she said no, and the universe went, here you go. Do you feel it? Do you see it? I hope so. Because for anyone, we're breaking ancestral trauma here, and we're breaking cycles. So anyone who is a parent and I said this to my friend too, because she's still kind of interesting in that conversation, and every success she has in her life, she still feels habitually trained to tell her kids to go to school. And I'm like, maybe look at that a little differently, because you could be teaching them a whole lot right now about how to be their own boss. Just saying. And that's a far better life. Hands down, in my opinion. I mean, to each his own. I hope something I shared today resonated. I hope that you will give me a follow, subscribe, all of those things. I'm told to say that. Someone said to help with the algorithm, help me reach more people. I don't really care about big numbers. I just want to reach anyone and everyone that needs a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of motivation, a little bit of some new ways of looking at life, to just kind of, I call them powwows, where your brain goes pow and you're like, wow, I never thought of it like that before. My favorite moments. I live for them. Powwows. It's the way that we can shine when we know what you don't know what you don't know. But once we know better, we can do better. Isn't that magic? You are whatever you choose to believe. So be wise. Choose wisely. I'm wishing everyone so much love and light. Positively random on podcast, YouTube, TikTok, because that's what I am, intuitively guided to just share randomly my intuitive insights, perspectives, and reflections on this thing we call life, hoping to inspire, motivate, educate you so that you can get back in touch with everything that is calling and waiting for you within. Because happiness is a choice, and it's right here and right now waiting for you. Just your one thought, one new perception, one new attitude away from your best life. Much love, much love, much love.